Hello, we are live now. I was expecting music, and I messed it up. You should have done it. Hello, welcome to the Arkin brothers talk about movies, or don't talk about anything, as the case may have been just there.
Just sit there
Tony.
silently.
This is Matthew. We are brothers. We're going to talk about movies tonight. We have a special show. We saw Coupe de Ville this week to round out the end of our Loving Brothers marathon. And to celebrate this film, we have special guests, Alan Arkin, or Pops, as we like to call him, Rita Taggart, and Arye Gross, all in the film and all in the waiting room. So we can't wait to see them. And we'll see you in a second.
Talking about cocktails that are stylish, movies great or phony, and how Tony should win a Matthew, and Matthew should win a Tony. But in the meantime, talking about film in the meantime. The Arkin brothers talk about movies.
1990s Coupe de Ville.
Yes, indeed.
Oh,
that was a respectable little outro to the title sequence. Finally, we get some respect.
Usually
it's
Usually they're
cutting.
making fun of us and something, but that was lovely. How's your week?
Week has been great. I'm not gonna lie, it's been great. No, nothing terrible to report. No bad news. No extremely good news. Just it's been a good week. I've been looking forward to this. In fact, this has been like a big, exciting thing in the calendar.
You're giddy with excitement.
I am. How was your week? Did you do a lot of liquor business?
Oh, yeah, liquor. We're into the long, slow slog of trying to build accounts now. We didn't win any awards this week. We didn't lose any awards this week.
Right.
Nothing notable happened this week.
You're just looking for the leads.
It's
like Glengarry Glen Ross now.
Looking for those Glenfiddich leads. We're going to call them the Glenfiddich leads.
As you should.
Yeah. The Glen Morangi, Glenfiddich, Glen Morangi. That's my life right now. Excited about this.
Well, you look rested. We spoke briefly earlier, and I was worried you weren't going to be here tonight. I for some reason thought that you were just not going to show up.
Well, my classes start tomorrow. The semester starts for me, and I get nervous, getting ready for the start of the new semester. A whole bunch of new students who I don't know, blah blah blah. And but I took a nap since talking to you. I took a nap and had 17 shots of espresso. So
you look great. This is going so well.
Ready to go. But people don't want to listen to us right now because they know that we've got these people in the waiting room.
Yeah, we have incredible guests tonight, and most guests we've ever had. I think this may be the most guests ever on a podcast. Maybe historically,
it's never been,
but it's certainly the most we've ever had. And I hope the technology can keep up with it. Thank God we have producers.
Yes, so we should introduce them. However
you want to do. I did the cold open, and this is your responsibility.
Okay, well. We'll introduce somebody first, near and dear to my heart, who I had the privilege of working with in 2009. I got to play his mother's boyfriend, and strangely enough, wonderful actor, great humanitarian, and a close personal friend of mine, Arye Gross. We'll bring him in. Oh, where is he? I'm adding him to the stream.
Something's going wrong.
There
he is. There it is.
There he is. Arye Gross.
No, it's okay.
Hello there.
Okay. Hey, Arye.
Who plays one of the sons in the movie, and then playing his mother, the wonderful Rita Taggart. Hello, Rita. And then this gentleman who we're who
we do know somewhat.
We call him Pops. And there he is. Hey, Dad.
Hey, Dad.
Hello, Matthew. Hello, Tony.
Yes.
There we go.
Just like at the dinner table growing up. This is so exciting. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
We're going to try to make this work because we never, like I said, we never had this many people on the show before. And usually it's just somebody that Matthew knows or somebody I know. And if it's somebody that Matthew knows and I don't know, I don't say anything. It's just Matthew talking. So we'll try to figure out how this works.
Yeah. So, have you guys hung out since this movie was made? Ari, Dad, anybody seen each other, socialized?
Rita and I have talked a lot. We correspond a lot.
Yeah, we did a movie with Andy Davis. Still big, still little.
Oh my God!
Oh, that's
my God!
Yes.
Another masterpiece.
Well, I mean, we should frame this a little bit. You know, this is a show about this movie. Does anybody want to give us a recap of what this movie's about? Ari, I feel like putting you on the spot.
All right. So, Coupe de Ville concerns there's a car that's called a Coupe de Ville. What else do you want to know?
That's one of the main points.
Alan plays the patriarch of this family. Rita is the matriarch, and there are three sons played by Daniel Stern is the eldest. Patrick Dempsey is the youngest, and I play the middle brother, Buddy, and we are charged with transporting the car from I think it's Detroit to Florida as a gift from the father to the mother, and we don't get along and have a road trip.
And you've been estranged for quite some time, right?
From whom?
From each other in the movie. The
the brothers. I like everybody here. So
I know 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years, exactly. That's right.
Yeah. And
you look good.
Yeah, there you go.
That's shocking.
Yeah, pops in and out. I think that, you know, it's interesting. You know, we do a lot of different movies on this show, and people have been saying, when are you going to have your dad on? When are you going to have your dad on? And I think it's fair to say Dad's been in some really notable films that people talk about, that people write about. I think it's fair to say that in my whole life, certainly, and I think Anthony would agree, people walking up to us and saying, oh, this movie, your dad in that movie and this movie. And nobody's ever walked up to me and said, oh man, Coupe de Ville. And yet this is the one we chose to talk about.
Well, it's nice of you to make an exception in this case.
I remember nothing about the film at all. I don't remember doing it. I remember where we did it, but there are two stories I have that I remember vividly. One is the one is Joe Roth, who directed the film, did one of the most brilliant and courageous things of any director I've ever worked with. I don't know whether you guys remember that, but there was a recognition beforehand that there were problems with the script. And
get out of town.
What?
Get out of town.
There was a table reading. There was a recognition there were problems with the script. Joe Roth asked every one of the actors what they thought their issues. Do you remember this, Arya?
I do, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, he spent an hour getting notes from all the actors on what they thought the problems were, and he stopped at a point when the actors were getting courageous and feeling like instead of talking about the event, they could start talking about what they wanted. At that point, he stopped. He went away with Mike Binder, who wrote the script. They came back with a much better script.
Yeah.
And can I ask if Mike Binder was there in the room for that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yes. Well, you know, like kudos to him to sit through that. That had to be a pretty intense day for Mike Binder.
Well, he was one of his first things at that point, so I think he was relatively open.
I don't know if I would have been in the room if it was my first thing. So that's really cool that he could be.
Everybody was very positive, as I recall.
Just to add, in my recollection, at a table read, maybe was later in the day or after a rewrite had come in, Joe Bologna was there for the table read, and with
I
Mike
was
Binder,
I was going to
Mike
keep
Binder in the
referring.
room, and Stu Silver, who had been hired to punch up the script.
That's what I remember. Steve Silver.
Stu Silver.
Stu, yeah.
Yeah, and after the read through, Joe Bologna let everybody know that he would be willing to do a rewrite. And and fix the most glaring problems.
Because Lovers and Other Strangers and Bedrooms are two such classics of the American.
That was very generous of Joe. That was extremely generous.
He was willing to cut his rate.
I wouldn't. I am not surprised. That's wonderful.
Oh my goodness. Oh, good Lord.
Well, I remember from that one because I thought there were too many fucks in the script for that period of time. And Stu remembered that because I saw him later and he goes, "So you didn't like my writing?" And I thought, no, I just thought there were too many fucks in it. And I think they took quite a few fucks out.
I don't remember it being overly.
There were a lot. I don't know if you guys remember, or maybe,
it seemed appropriately layered with fucks. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I think they got rid of a lot of them.
That's all. They should have saved them for use distributing among about half a dozen films now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no dialogue required anymore. You just
right.
So, were you all at that table read, or did any of you get involved in an interesting way in this project last minute, or did you go through a typical casting process or not? Do you remember? Or did you know Joe before doing this? No.
Well, I met Uncle Joe in I went through it. I auditioned for the film, and so it was fairly typical. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were coming straight out of South Coast Rep at the time, right, Ari?
No, that was a little bit earlier, but yeah.
Because I passed the picture of you in some baseball play there frequently.
That was actually after Coupe de Ville.
That was after Coupe de Ville. Okay.
Yeah. When that made me eligible to be hired at South Coast Rep.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
Now, Dad, you said you haven't seen it or maybe you never saw it from the way that you explained it. Yeah. Did you have you seen it recently?
I saw it when it first came out, but I don't remember it.
You haven't revisited it?
No.
I'm fishing and you're making tuna fish sandwiches. Jesus Christ almighty.
Vividly. There was a scene where I get up in the middle of the night and I go, I'm annoyed with a sign, a street sign, and I go out to fix it in the middle of the night and I don't tell Rita. And she had a scene where she comes and finds me in the morning still working on the street sign. And she had what would have been a typical scene where she comes and says, "Where were you all night? I couldn't find you. I didn't know where you were." And harangue. And when I read the script, it read like a regular harangue. And when Rita did it, it absolutely threw me because she did it in a kind and loving way, and was so atypical and so far away from a cliche of any kind, that it threw me completely and broke my heart, because she just expressed concern. There was no anger in it, there was no rancor, and it was so unusual to me and so moving that I never forgot it. It was a real lesson, and I feel like actors almost invariably now will go for the rancor and the anger, if they have a choice in the scene, and never look for something that's conciliatory or a way of doing it warmly or openly. And this was a real lesson for me, and I'll never forget it.
it's a lovely scene. It really is. It still holds up,
So
and
beautiful.
as your relationship really does. I think it's a strong part of the movie is that relationship. It's really unusual. You know, Rita, you're so kind of loving towards this incredibly
I do
abrasive.
not love this guy.
Well, yeah, but it's your loving him that shows us he's a good guy because he doesn't, you know, he's not really behaving that way towards anybody, but we kind of get the feeling that you know something we don't, and that really is kind of special, you know. It's yeah, it's really terrific. And I think the family dynamic altogether. Now, Arya, so I didn't finish asking, sorry, if Rita, had you seen it recently or when was the
I
last time you
actually
saw it?
I looked at it a couple of years. I think it was on. Somebody called me and said it's on, so I watched it. I liked it.
Yeah,
I never really like things the first time I see them because you're just looking at all the things you hate about yourself.
sure.
And
Yeah.
as a woman, they've told you everything that's wrong with you from the moment you get to town. But then, with time, I loved it. Well, and I love Alan and Ari, and I thought the guys were great, and Patrick was so young then
Yeah.
and gangly, and so and it's fun to watch the boys grow up. I still feel that's my son. That's my son.
And yet he looks so much older than you. It's confusing.
That is a moment I want to talk about for a second. Right after I ask Arya if you'd seen the movie recently or when the last
No,
time.
I hadn't seen it since a screening prior to its very brief opening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's
I
so
think more
interesting?
people saw it.
What's that?
Well, 4 of those 4 are here then, but Rita, I just before I forget, I just want to say that's the fact that you only actually have any interactions with your sons are at the very, very end of this movie for a brief moment outside the house, and it's completely realized. You're seeing them.
I do this every day. I need this.
Well, it's really, one of the things we wanted to do with this show was talk about movies that don't get talked about. I mean, everybody's talking about the same list of films, and that's great. But there's a lot of beautiful work in the movies that are not discussed enough. And it's nice to get a chance at least to, to recognize some of this.
I think that's a wonderful thing to do, and I hope fervently that I'm not on too many of the shows.
I promise this will be one of only several that we will do together.
We're having you back next week for the Jerky Boys movie,
which is a Joe Roth, another Joe Roth experience. So you guys could be on together.
Oh my God!
He was involved in that. He was a producer, I think. Yeah.
I'm busy that week.
So we can tell you, Matthew and I both seen it more recently than any of you. Then I saw it last night, and I don't know, Matthew probably saw it.
I've never seen it.
I saw it the day before yesterday, so I still remember it.
All right. I have to say,
to me, it was just like a document. It was like watching a documentary of our home life. Adam, Tony, and me, and Dad.
I was a little nicer than that.
Mom being sweet. Dad saying, "Do this, behave yourself. What's the matter with you?"
It was like a documentary of my trip down to Florida when you made the movie.
Is that where we made it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
St. Petersburg area, I believe, or thereabouts.
There was a question that kept coming up for me as I watched this movie. Was this the trip to Florida that had the "Does he like ducks" story?
Had to be. I believe it is.
Was it this trip to Florida?
Were you on that trip, Tony?
I was with you when this happened. I can see the place in my mind right now.
I think it very well could have been.
I know it. I know it in my heart. This is the truth.
What is this story?
Dad has to tell this story. It's for some reason
It was close to Matthew's birthday. We were in a nice part of town. We were looking for a birthday present for Matthew. We tried to find a store that was somehow relevant to anything he might be interested in. And we found a kind of high scale gift place. There was no menswear store that we could find. We found this giftware place. And we go in, and it immediately looked like we might be in the wrong store because it looked like a lot of hunting equipment, things like that. And this young sales lady comes over to us, very earnest woman. She said, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yeah, we're looking for a birthday present for my son, but I don't really think that there's anything here." She said, "Wait a minute." She said, "Does he like ducks?" And Tony and I were speechless. We didn't know. What I wanted to say, what are you, crazy? Are you crazy?
Does he like ducks?
It's been a story that's been told many, many times in the family, and I knew it took place in Florida. So as I was watching this movie, that story was coming up for me, and it made me love this movie so much.
But you mean when you're watching the film, you weren't thinking about the dynamic of the interrelationships? You were thinking about what is he like ducks?
I was thinking about how we laugh and get along so much better in our family than they do in this family.
Well, what happened with the ducks?
We didn't get him a duck.
Matthew hates ducks, as it turns out.
Stand there with her.
I do like ducks quite a bit. Duck à l'orange, Peking duck.
Pots.
Uh-oh.
Response to the woman, or you liking Peking duck?
So, one of the things I was going to ask people, I can't really ask because you haven't seen the movie. So we're at a loss. It's been a lovely show. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
I jump in my rod about 9:15. I gotta make a date with that chick of mine. I cross the center line, man, you gotta.
That was the best bug catch moment. Arye, I love that. That was great.
And no one ever says, "Does he like bugs?"
No.
Yeah, they didn't ask you.
Truly fantastic bug in the mouth moment. That was great.
I have a technical question to ask about the movie, Arye.
Yes.
Have you ever done that much looping in your life for any other project you've been on?
I have no. Is it very obvious when you watch the film?
No, there was.
I think because there's a lot of driving shots. So
yeah, and in a convertible, and I suddenly realized, oh my God, they must have looped almost this entire movie.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't think I've actively repressed memories of the film, but I actually don't recall a lot of looping. But I do, Anthony. I do recall you visiting while we were shooting, and I recall one night going back to the hotel from the set in a van with you, Alan. And I think we were the only three cast members in the van. It was very quiet. It was about an hour drive. And then at one point, one of you said, "Peter S. Beagle," to which the other replied, "Sam Shepard." And then there was a pause, and then one of you then replied, "Deborah Kerr," and you both started laughing. And I was trying to figure out what on earth you were talking about, and you made me sort of figure it out. And I have to say, it's become possibly my favorite game to play.
Oh, that's amazing.
On a set or backstage or something.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool. No one's ever.
Wonderful.
I haven't. We used to play that all the time, Dad, and I haven't thought of that in a while.
We still do.
I have no memory of what that game is.
It's a game of, for instance, you say "A Man for All Seasons," starring Shelley Winters.
Was that it?
That's
Yeah,
essentially the
except-
game. You can play it
right,
with people's
this is
names
just
or
names,
titles of books or
My favorite one was The Valley of Decision, starring George Will and Elaine May.
And Immanuel Kant.
And who's the guy that is it that Vince Canby?
Can be. Right.
Very good.
So that maybe somebody will listen to this and the tradition will live on. I think that game is worth its own podcast.
Yeah.
If they can have the Leonard Maltin game, they could have that game.
We got about 15 items on it now, a lot of them.
Yes. So none of you, I'll ask this anyway, even though you haven't. I mean, Rita, you've seen it recently, so maybe you would know. I was thinking, like, what's the one take or scene that you're proudest of? What's the one scene or take or moment that you wish you had they did another take?
You know what? I love the scene where we're in the boat.
Yeah.
I think that's such a great scene.
It's great.
And
The boat?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're in a boat,
we're in a
Dad.
pier.
In this movie, we're in a boat?
Yeah, we were in a boat.
It's docked.
But we're just talking.
I have to see this movie.
You got to.
If there's a boat in it, it's very exciting.
It was a good boat.
You're good in it, Dad.
Get out of here.
You are good.
You did some good work in this movie.
Hey, listen, I have an emergency. I have to switch iPads. I'm running out of I spent an hour trying to figure out why I'm not getting power on this damn iPad. So I'm losing power and I have to get on another iPad.
You can sign on again with that link.
Same link. We'll bring you right back in.
Okay.
We'll see you in a bit.
I knew you would.
Okay. Wait a minute. He's still here. We can't talk about him yet.
It is lovely. It is a great scene. Actually, I was thinking about that. Another scene where neither of you.
What the heck is going on there?
Kind of. I don't know.
I'm gonna pop him out.
I
hope. Yes.
I want to know more about the game, by the way, because it sounds like it would really be fun, and I like to use my brain because it gets a little slow.
It sounds like Arye is the most erudite here.
Yeah,
He could
we're gonna have to talk.
Okay, so it's a person, living or dead, can be famous, can be somebody just known to the players of the game. It can't be a fictional character. I think I've made up some rules along the way.
Yeah, you have more roles than we did. Yeah.
And but it's just too easy if it's character names, and it has nothing to do with who they are. So if you say Ellery Queen, if you can say it,
Stephen King.
You can say Stephen King, but you can't say Elvis because he's the king.
Right.
That doesn't work. And it just has to do with the value in the word that is their name.
So Ellery Queen, Stephen King,
Jack Black.
Right. Queen Latifah.
Well, you could probably go Joey Bishop because you could use them as chess pieces.
But what was the first one you guys used was Sam Shepard, and the other, who was the first person?
Peter Beagle.
Okay, then I got it. Okay.
But it was Deborah Kerr that really
that
was hilarious.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
And what was the answer to that one, Deborah Kerr?
Well,
they're
like
all
a cur,
all dogs.
They're all dogs.
So the way that my
I don't know a cur. What do you mean, like cur?
A dog. Another word for dog would be cur.
Yeah, so it's like
this is
homonyms.
a smarty pants game, which is fun.
Yeah,
or idiots who have way too much time on their hands.
Or a smarty pants game that's really no fun, that only a couple of smarty pants think is fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Sounds fun.
It's going to be hard to market this.
It doesn't really work beyond like 2 or 3 people.
I'm feeling there's not a show.
Oh, well.
I thought there was a podcast, and I don't think there is one.
And I thought it was the stupidest thing ever.
I think
I'm
Dad.
like, because it didn't take me any time at all.
I think
I
Dad
believe it's all here. The way I feel, it ought to be payment enough. But it's not.
I have to admit,
James Gammon.
James Gammon was a surprise.
Yeah,
love James Gammon.
Look who's back!
Oh, and he's gone.
He
And
was
he's back.
really,
Big
he was
Daddy.
a really close friend of Rip Torn.
Oh, not surprised about that.
Can you imagine them together?
I
Oh
can
my-
now. I'm having some images in my mind right
Would
now.
be really fun.
That would be incredible.
I would
Yeah,
love to
he's great.
be at a
What
bar
I
with
did.
those two.
What did I miss?
We were talking about James Gammon as the mechanic, who I found to be. I was very surprised to see him show up. I'd forgotten he was in it, and it was. I never associated James Gammon with a movie as kind of light and kind of frothy as this. It
Yeah.
seemed. I thought, oh, is there going to be killing? Are they
Are
going
you
to?
calling
What's
us?
sweet about it?
Are you
You
calling
know?
us light and frothy? I
No,
don't
the
know.
movie is a light. It's. I meant that as a compliment. I thought all of your work was heavy and dramatic, but the movie itself has a light and frothy.
That's where the big bucks are.
Oh, that's right. The dark
Yeah.
cloud.
I would
Yeah.
be very interested to see what your thoughts are on it, Aryan and Dad, because I mean, Rita said she saw it again and was pleasantly kind of surprised that she liked it. I think you would find a lot about it to like, and I think it's actually aged very nicely. There's in the landscape of very, very heavy cutting, violent, and emotionally dysfunctional families that this is a movie you can have dinner and watch. Let's put it that way. It's nice. You could see
Where
it with your
can
family. What's wrong with that?
Where can I find it?
On YouTube
It's on
currently.
YouTube. You can watch
YouTube.
it.
I thought it was like HBO Max. You can ask for it too.
Well, if you don't, I don't have the HBO Max, so
I don't either, but you know.
But you can see it on YouTube, which is a fine place to see movies now.
Does it have subtitles?
Can you
If you want them there, you could probably get them.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna give
Can
it a
you
shot.
mirror them? Can
Sorry?
you mirror them on?
What?
It's going off the rails. This is going off the rails.
So, okay.
I think an
An
angel just
an
passed through.
erudite academic, semi-academic show talking about movies. So I have a question. Tony and I did a thing when we watched not Footloose. Good Lord, not El Dorado, Silverado.
Thank you. Yes.
With me. We watched Silverado and we came up with a list of things that are in westerns, things that obligatory things that have to be in westerns that are all in Silverado. This is a road movie. What are the things that must appear in every road movie?
That's one of them.
The car going off the road into the sign.
Sure.
A buckboard could be going off the road.
Right.
You have to have a cop stopping at one point or another.
Creepy Southern cops. We have.
That's right.
They have them in this movie.
You remind me of my oldest brother. Really, the one I really can't stand.
Yeah.
There we go.
Having to gamble to get money to continue the trip.
Yes,
is a classic.
Right.
Very big classic.
Stopping at a creepy gas station. That's
Yep.
Creepy
that
gas
happens.
station. And
Yes.
road.
a tire blowing is always nice.
Yep, we
Yep.
didn't get that in this, right?
A
We did get
hitchhiker.
iconic road food because we had Stuckies, right?
Yeah,
We had
you got
the whole Stuckies scene.
Roadside diners.
Sure.
Yeah,
You get a
Yeah.
fist fight. You get a fist fight, which are often in good road movies,
We had
About-
lots of those.
yeah.
Hitchhiker.
on and off screen. I would
That's
like to hear
correct.
about that. Dempsey throws a mean left punch. I hear it's pretty rough.
Well, the thing is that Patrick did everything he could to just irritate the shit out of both of us, which actually kind of worked because it pissed Danny Stern off so much that we'd be in the middle of the scene and Danny would just reach over and start hitting Patrick.
Reach over and what?
Reach to the back seat and start hitting Patrick Dempsey because Patrick would be like kicking the back of Danny's seat in the middle of a scene, and there was some scene we were doing, and Danny started screaming, "Joe, I've got my own kids.
Oh my
I don't
god!
need this guy." but I played the middle brother and I had to be the peacemaker, so I found it very helpful.
Do you have brothers and sisters in your real life, Ari?
I have an older sister, and I had an older brother who's no longer with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you were drawing on some real stuff for this movie? Did it?
I had no idea what it was like to be a middle child.
None.
Yeah, I was always the baby, so
Lucky you.
yeah, I related to Patrick.
Okay. I was the things that I was surprised at. You had a hell of a wrestler's body back then. Were you a wrestler? I was surprised because you kind of outgunned everybody. It was well done, sir.
So well, thank you very much. And so Rita will understand this. We both worked with Roy London back in those days. Wonderful acting coach. And I talked to Roy about the movie, and he sort of thought like a trap about Buddy was that he was a in the writing. Buddy's the guy I played. That in the writing he would be a little bit of a an intellectual college weakling, and so his suggestion to me was to work out and do a lot of weightlifting as much as I could before we started shooting. So that was and now I'm twice the size that I was back then. Wow. Joe actually was not super happy about it. When I showed up, Joe was like, "And you are a much bigger person than the person I cast."
Yeah. Well, you upset him maybe, but I think it was worth it. You
thanks.
Great. And it's kind of, I thought it was a kind of a cool, interesting thing that the middle guy who you're expecting to be just all about books and kind of a 99-pound weakling or whatever,
right,
is actually looks like he can handle himself better than the other two. I thought that was kind of interesting. I
have to say I completely missed that.
You wasn't looking for it. I was overwhelmed by his physique. I couldn't take my eyes off of him.
Oh, wow.
Well, you said that back when we were shooting, and I remember that.
Oh my goodness.
So what does anybody remember something as being their favorite scene or sequence or thing in the movie? Because there are some really notably great things, but there's one scene in particular that I feel like is a classic or kind of should be. And I'm wondering if anybody can.
I'm wondering if you and I are thinking of the same scene.
Is that the song?
It's the conversation about the song.
Yeah, right.
The Louie conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's great. It's a hump song. It's a funny line.
Yeah.
It's a very funny line.
And it actually is a sea shanty. But what are you going to do?
I think that's a classic, a kind of a classic scene. Does anybody else have scenes that they love?
Well, I have a favorite scene.
I already talked about the one. Not seeing it because I don't remember seeing it. But working with Rita on that scene was as memorable as anything. What?
Thank you. I'm thrilled because I have so much admiration for you. As I keep telling him, Little Murders is by far one of my favorite all-time movies. And I just think it should be out there, or we should have an evening of that movie, and maybe the Russians are coming. I mean, it's just.
You're just saying this because I complimented you on.
No, I've talked to you about it before.
Oh,
get out of here. He said, I don't even have a copy of the movie. And then I said, well, I found one. I can get it for you. He goes, oh, well, I have it.
Yeah, I love Little Murders. I'm very proud of it.
Oh, some of those scenes, and I think it's even better now with what's going on. It was crazy then.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But the random shooting, I go out and I'm thinking some rando guy could run out of anywhere, and you can just there. My friend's nephew just got shot in that. A couple of guys got in a fight, and he got killed in the crossfire.
Oh my God.
This is an insane. That's why that movie And it's so insane. It's just so great on every level. Everybody in it is great. It is. I mean, I can't. I don't know. Have you seen it, Ari? It's just.
Yeah, I have.
I just can't believe it.
I was talking to somebody a couple days ago, actually, Bram, Dad, who'd seen the theater production of it at Circle and Square.
My God.
And said to this day that was one of the great shows he'd ever seen. He still remembers it vividly to this day, which was when, I guess the play was what, 1970 or?
I have no idea. I think you were about a year old when we were doing it.
I think
so it was that late. It was 80. It was like in the late 80s.
No, it was 68.
No.
Oh,
68. Yeah.
You remember, Matthew?
Yeah.
How can you remember that?
Because I had just come to, because I remember when you were shooting it, and oh no, it wasn't 68. It was 69 or 70 that the movie was made.
Tony, I forget. You're 54.
then I was born
27.
I was born in the late 80s. I was born in 67, 1967. Now all my fans know how old I am.
Know how old you are.
I won't have any followers left after this.
No, it's all over.
So I was going to ask you all about the crew and some of the other department heads. Do you remember how heavy hitting that group of people was?
No.
Well, I remember Ray Villalobos, who was the DP, was fantastic.
Like one of the greats.
Yeah,
Ray Villalobos, he'd worked on The Godfather 2 and Apocalypse Now and The Urban Cowboy 95, Risky Business.
Wow.
You remember the DP? No, I'm sorry, the production designer. Angelo Graham, who did War Games,
right?
The Natural,
wow,
one of the most beautiful movies ever shot. Scent of a Woman, Midnight Run, incredible crew.
Right.
Editor of the movie.
Is that Paul Hirsch?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Guy who do you know who that is, Dad? Edited Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and all of De Palma's stuff.
Never heard of him.
If you're ever cut out of anything,
he's a jerk. No, he did Footloose. The man's incredible. So that's remarkable. And there's some really beautiful shots in it. Not the least of which, Ari, is the helicopter shot of you trying to throw up off the back of the car. I'm fascinated by this. How much money did they spend on that shot?
It's a beautiful composition.
It's a shot. They have a shot. You may not remember this shot in the movie. It's a helicopter shot crossing a bridge in I guess in the outer Florida somewhere, one of those long span bridges.
Yeah,
and it's a helicopter shot that starts as a close-up of Arye in the back of the car throwing up, and it pulls back into this wide vista. And I've never seen a helicopter shot being used for a vomit gag before. I've just never seen that. It's pretty extraordinary.
Hey, I got to go back and look at this movie. Maybe pull some of that from my reel.
I think you'd be advised to do so, sir. That shot in particular.
Yeah, for the real. They'll go, we want something recent.
Disgorging is disgorging. What do you want?
It's in an interesting tradition of movies. What's interesting to me, what happened? Okay, so what happened in 1962 or 3 that got everybody all freaked out to go back and make a movie about 1962 or 3?
Kennedy
JFK.
Kennedy got killed.
I'm okay, that's fine. But like the list of movies, American Graffiti, 1962, made in 1972.
Pascal, my husband shot that.
Oh yeah,
of course. It's a great movie. I just got the Blu-ray of that, and I couldn't believe how gorgeous. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Which film is this?
American Graffiti. But it takes place in 1962. Dirty Dancing, 1963. The Wonder Years, of course, was a little later, but all about that nostalgia period, which you know something about, Ari. Mermaids, 1963. Flamingo Kid, 1963. Animal House, 1962. The Great Santini, 1962. Stand By Me, it's 59, came a little bit earlier. Tin Men, 1963. It's like in that period of time, all these filmmakers were making movies about 1962 or 1963, and they were like coming of age movies. I guess it was the Kennedy assassination. Was that it? The before the war?
Yeah.
Right.
The time before the war when everything was a little better or something?
A little more innocent and
Yeah,
I think that's
it was a time of extraordinary hope. There was a sense of extraordinary positive ideas about what the future is going to be like. One world, beautiful life. Everybody's going to get along. I think that it might have had something to do with it. I found myself remembering it's a little early, somewhat earlier than that, the United Nations song, written by Shostakovich, and I looked up the lyrics. I found myself sobbing, reading that song, the lyrics of that song, with the formation of the United Nations, and everything is finally going to be one world, and it's such a glorious idea of what we could be and should be, and have so far not lived up to that ideal.
Wow. Well, yeah. It seems like that time just hit.
It was. I think the '60s was a very high point in that sense of future.
Yeah, the early '60s, before '65, before we got involved in the war, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, what year was Kennedy assassinated? I'm sorry.
63.
63. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, after that, it just was kind of darkness for a long time. But it's really curious how many of these filmmakers, and these are a lot of different filmmakers, who, Barry Levinson, of course, kind of had a lot to do with that with Diner, I guess. It was one of the early versions of that, but that was 59, which is a similar sense.
Right.
Pope. And in a tradition of these movies that were made in that time, this is actually kind of a lovely look version of that, as a kind of a hangout movie. That's the way I saw it. Like you could it's low on plot, but you could step in at almost any time in the movie and kind of like hanging out with everybody.
I think a lot of the best movies are low on plot. I think as long as there's a bare bones and stuff that you have things to hang it on, I don't think you need a lot of plot. No, it's harder work because it means you have to dig into character, which people are not terribly interested in doing so much these days. Movies used to be written by writers. Now that most of them are written by engineers and draftsmen. It's in my humble opinion.
Well, if I were in the business, I might be able to speak to that, but I haven't been in quite some time. Yeah, I think it'd be worth checking out again. We saw was it last week? Did we do Rain Man, or was it the week before? No, last week was Darjeeling Limited.
Darjeeling Limited was last week.
And the week before that, we did Rain Man. I have to say, I would see this movie any day over Rain Man again. I can't. Rain Man it's a well-made film. There's a lot of great things to say about it, but it's so overwrought at this point in time when I look back at it. And another road movie about brothers and whatever. I would go back to this one. I think this has a lot more subtle pleasure than some of these films.
And also I would watch this movie over Rain Man, just to see Ari's body rather than Tom Cruise's.
I'm just saying, giving Tom Cruise a run for his money. That's all I'm saying.
I hear this every
I don't
day.
know why. I personally don't know why you didn't have his career.
Yeah. I don't know either.
You know that vomiting thing on the expressway?
Yes.
I actually did that. I did that myself.
I was going to ask about the
Yeah,
stunt work
I
in
didn't
the
have
film.
any stuntmen doing that.
No,
Yeah.
and you didn't look strapped in because they didn't have CGI to take those straps
You
out.
didn't
You
have
were
a tube coming out or anything?
No, that was all me.
you really need to see that again, Ari, because you don't realize what you were a part of in that moment. It's literally like from True Lies. It's a shot from a James Cameron movie, and it's of you throwing up out of the back of a car.
Do we have a clip
You
of
need
that?
to capitalize on this.
I actually thought that sequence of you trying to climb out of the back of the car, I thought was sort of modeled after the Zapruder film.
Yeah, that's it.
It's what it looked
You know?
like.
That's very perceptive.
It really is.
Did you when you saw that shot? Did you think of the Zapruder film?
It was
Anthony?
so subtle. I thought of True Lies. I was thinking of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
but it's really, really true.
Too soon.
I'm just glad the movie didn't have us drive through Dallas.
I think it would have been edgy. I like that. I wish they hadn't taken that out.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
That was an idea.
Oh my god.
I do remember driving through Georgia. These long highway shots and seeing billboards for the George Gobel show.
Oh.
And I asked someone in the art department, like, the George Gobel show, that's fantastic. That was like on the air and then off in the 1960s. And they were like, no, that's an actual billboard.
Oh, wow.
Oh god.
This hasn't changed.
Yeah.
You know, I looked up in preparation for the show, I went in search of trivia. And on most movies, you go in search of trivia, and on IMDb, there's a trivia page with, 70 entries of items of trivia. There are only 4 trivia entries on this movie, and one of them is truly extraordinary. What?
One from each of the people who saw it.
Yeah,
that's
one of the trivia items. You'll like
it.
this. I think this trivia item was written by the person who asked if I like ducks. When the film was shooting in Cape Coral, Florida, Hollywood set director Richard A. Villalobos contacted the CEO of Goodwill Industries of Southwest Florida to acquire props for the film. He purchased $4,000 worth of set decorations from the local Cape Coral Goodwill store. That's an item of trivia.
Yeah,
that's
on IMDb Pro.
Yeah,
geez. I have to pay for that.
I
gotta turn on a light. We're gonna lose my light in a second.
Okay.
100 years from now, when they excavate, it's still going to be there. Perfect. No rust.
Nice costumes in the movie.
Wonderful costume.
Did Richard Dreyfuss want his costume from American Graffiti back, Ari? Because it's the same costume.
George, God, I'm trying to remember George's last name, who was the assistant costumer, is unfortunately no longer with us. And I'd done a movie with him 6 or 7 years earlier, and he was a great guy. And I'm kind of shocked that George Little, that was his name. And when I got married in 1999, George took me out. He took me shopping for my wedding suit.
Oh,
and sort of put me
that
together.
is incredibly sweet.
Yeah, he was a lovely guy.
Did you become friends on this movie?
No, we became friends on Just One of the Guys.
Oh my God, I was going to reference this because I grew up on that movie as well. Well, grew up on it. I certainly grew up watching it. That's an amazing thing to be a part of.
Yeah. Thanks.
Did you guys growing up like sit around and look at movies and comment on them and
oh my God. Oh,
That's all we did, Rita.
Really?
It's the
Wow.
only thing that happened for
once in a
me.
while, we'd eat and go to the kids would go to school periodically.
and
We're
to this
homeschooled by films.
to this day, I have friends who hate watching television and movies with me because I don't talk while the movie is
Oh.
on. You're watch. It's busy. I've had people come sit. I remember growing up, people coming over to the house to watch. Friends from high school come watch a movie with the family, and then afterwards they go, "I don't want to do that anymore." And why not? It's because it's work. It's like going to work with you guys, because everybody's serious and watching and paying attention.
Suzanne cured me of that.
Yeah.
We watch movies in chapters now. 10 minutes, we take a break. Another 10 minutes, we take a break.
I mean, if I'm going to talk during the movie, I pause it. If there's something I want to say, or if somebody else says, "Oh, did you know?" I pause the movie, because you miss things. I learned.
I find that I miss things if I don't talk about them while they're happening.
All the movies going on because
I can't. I need to talk about it. I need to figure it out with somebody.
I find myself going through every scene now where somebody's looking for somebody, or somebody's checking up and says, "Okay, I got to go past all of it." Every movie now takes about 40 minutes for me because I don't want to see everybody going from one place to another. I don't want to see somebody looking for a place to hide.
But they need to make up for the time.
Wait a second, Dad. If they cut from a guy walking down the street to the president in the Oval Office, how do you know he's in the Oval Office if you don't see a helicopter shot of the White House first?
True. They also have to.
I like to be surprised.
They also have to make up for the time that used to take to dial telephones.
Oh,
That's right.
Which used to be about a half of every film was just people making a phone call.
Phone. I held on to the dial. I said, "I am not too lazy to dial a phone."
Exactly.
God.
So another remarkable thing. Everybody in this room, if Daniel Stern were here, I guess the same would be said. Everybody's working. You're all working. You've been in incredible things for a long time. And you're all currently have things coming out, or you're working.
I'm not working.
You just are in the biggest movie of the last 10 years. It's out right now.
It's out right now. It's made more money in 17 minutes than any other movie ever made.
It's
59 on the all-time biggest box office.
So you have something out.
And is Kurosawa on that list? No.
Yeah.
Is Fellini on that list?
No.
The Academy Awards, they get an award, played them off.
And it's also the 57th time you've worked with Steve Carell.
Oh, love him.
Yeah, and about the 110th time I'm his mentor. I'm always his mentor, interestingly enough.
Interesting.
In everything but real life.
Rita, I have to ask you, because I'm a David Lynch nut. Oh. Did you do you have ever plans to work with him again on anything? Was that?
Well, no, that was supposed to be a series.
I know, yeah.
I don't know. He's not really doing. He's in a different realm right now. He's really into the meditation. He's painting a lot. He's got a different vibe right now. I think that. I'd love to. He was a gym. He was really a gym as a respectful director. He even had a megaphone sometimes, which I love. The old movies with the guy.
Yeah.
He was very, he's like jazz. He's really like jazz. You just kind of like get the beat and go with it. And I like that about him.
I've heard the similar things from other friends who have worked with him and say it's really special.
Yeah. He just, and I never met him. I mean, I just met the casting woman, and I thought, well, is he sitting behind a curtain somewhere? Because I don't want to blow my chance to meet David Lynch in case I don't get the part.
Right.
And then I got it, and I was just amazed. So
that's a piece of history. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's a really amazing thing. Well, I don't know. I know everybody's been very generous. We've been here for an hour talking. I don't want to overstay. Well, we have.
What about road movies? I thought you were going to say.
Well, that's why I wanted to, you know, go get to this part of the show where we can.
I got some.
That's fantastic.
Two for the Road, which I loved.
Okay.
Okay. Favorite road
my
movie.
aunt, which you know, Travels with My Aunt. Did you ever see it?
I never saw that.
1972.
Huh.
What movie is this?
Travels with My Aunt, Maggie Smith.
Oh, Maggie Smith. Oh, okay.
And Lou Gossett's in it. I mean, and then I loved Two for the Road with Albert Finney. I mean, come on, that's a great.
And Audrey.
Oh, you're the best. And then Play It As It Lays. Did any of you guys ever see this movie?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where is it? I've tried to get it for years. You can't get it.
You know, there's a place near me in South Pasadena called Videotech, and I bet they have it.
Yeah, they've got a lot of great movies there.
Yeah.
It really affected me when I saw it, but I haven't seen it again. So I don't know if it was just the place I was in my life at that time.
I've never seen it, but I'm going to track it down. You might try just looking it up on YouTube because they're literally. Oh, okay.
I have.
Do you have any favorite road movies, Dad?
Thelma and Louise, I would guess, would be my favorite.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Larry?
I didn't know that you love that movie that much. That's really cool.
Me?
Yeah, I didn't know that was that high on your list.
I think it's a very rich, complex film. I love that film.
I have to see that again.
Weren't you going to be the Brad Pitt part?
Me?
No, that was going to be that was Ari was going to be doing that.
Ari was going to do it.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite road movies, Ari?
A ton. So the first that comes to mind is Sullivan's Travels.
Oh,
God.
You shamed everybody. You shamed us all, Ari. Oh.
Thank you.
That was on my list. I can show it
done.
On my list.
And another road movie, and it's a rather dysfunctional relationship, but it's I think it's Spielberg's first movie, Duel.
Oh God, yeah.
Great.
And
you know,
that's a tough road trip.
And he did another great one. Did you ever see Sugarland Express? Is actually another great road movie.
It is great.
Undersung movie of his.
But you know, there's a movie I just wanted to mention.
You, Anthony?
No, Ari. I'm going to throw in one more because.
Oh, he had more?
Yeah,
He's frozen,
am I?
Oh no, you're back. You're back.
Have you ever seen Pow Wow Highway?
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Movie too.
Not in ages.
Yeah, great movie, and I recall it coming out right around the time of Coupe de Ville as well, or being made around that time anyway.
Must have been, yeah.
And there's some similarities, but it's like if the Libner family were Native American. It's a great movie.
That's the kind of movie that runs the risk of disappearing. Like I wonder how easy it is to find a movie like Pow Wow Highway.
And you know, Gary Farmer.
It's available.
Yes.
Is it? Oh, thank God.
He's in. There's a great show on Hulu right now called Reservation Dogs.
Yes, that's on my list.
It's fantastic.
It looks great.
Yeah, yeah.
I will check that out. Those are awesome titles. Those are great. Matthew, do you have a favorite road movie?
Well, Sullivan's Travels was on my list too.
I'm ashamed of myself.
It's right there. Midnight Run.
Oh, yes.
Great.
Yes.
It's one of my favorites.
It's fantastic.
And then, you know, because even at 62, I'm still desperate to get my father's approval. I'm going to put Little Miss Sunshine on the list.
Hey.
Absolutely.
Pandering.
Is that a road?
Oh, yeah.
It is that's a road movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's
a great take on a road movie.
I think I'm so proud of that film. I love everything about that film.
Yeah.
I love what it has to say. It has a lot of things to say, and it doesn't say them. It just shows.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Wait a
ensemble.
minute. Wait a minute, Dad. Are you suggesting that the movies should be about what they're about without spelling it out and telling you?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Let me.
I don't know how I
think
feel
that
about
for a
that.
while.
That's a perfect movie for a double bill with Coupe de Ville.
How do you know if it's awoke enough if you don't spell it out?
Yeah, really, definitely.
It's experiential.
So I will say
But I
on my
would-
list, I
Go
love
ahead.
Little Miss Sunshine. It's on my list of 3 because I was currying favor with my father and putting his movie on the list.
I'm going to raise your allowance, both of you.
Oh, please. This was not what
Oh, Dad.
No,
I'm
don't
going
make
to
it
say The Last Detail.
Yes,
Okay.
that's a great choice.
And
Great.
Two Lane Blacktop are
Two-
two
I
of
was-
my.
That was mine. That was mine for the double bill.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's for the double bill. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are
Was
two.
it Monty Hellman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Written by the great Rudy Wurlitzer.
Wow.
Also, great movie.
Yeah.
Tony and I have another game. Or were you done with your list, Tony?
I could be. What's it worth to you?
No, keep going.
No, I have nothing else.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it.
Tony and I play another game where we recast the movie with yeah. So recast. Who would you recast as the siblings in this?
You did it a couple movies ago. I'm straight ahead, just putting you, me, and Adam in this goddamn movie, which is what I wanted to have happen in the first place.
Oh,
So
definitely.
I'd have been willing to work with Arye at the time, but not with Dempsey, and I don't think with Stern.
Right.
So I
But who are we in the movie? Who are you and I and Adam?
I think it lines up just the way
Lines
the
up
ages do. I'm
I do
Dempsey, you're Arye, Adam's Stern.
Exactly.
I think it has to be. It needs to be. And then you all can fight over who gets to be Bologna. Maybe Rita, you could be the aunt and you could play the Bologna part.
Yeah.
Or Dad, you could be the mechanic.
Do
You
you
can switch it
remember
up.
Joe said one day, this movie's about me. It's all about
Oh
me.
my God.
Whatever you think you're doing. It's about
I think he said that on every movie he worked on. So.
Actually, there's one scene in this movie that to me structurally is almost brilliant comedically, and they just barely missed. But the scene where the 3 brothers sit on the couch and he goes out to look at the car, and it could have been brilliant, but they put a piece of dialogue in there.
Yeah, they didn't.
And
need
they
to
shouldn't
talk.
have. They should have just had the courage to have them just sit and let it go on forever, and then have him come in and sit and not say anything for a very long time. But then when he does talk, he has one of the best. It's the most Neil Simon moment in the movie when he just says, "Passports. You're gonna need passports."
Yeah. It's good.
And
That's
new
good.
identities.
Yeah.
Because he says new identities. We got to get you new identities and passports because he'll find you.
Yes. It's lovely. I mean, as is, Dad, when you see the car at the end and we're expecting you to freak out because of the dent in it and stuff, and you don't react. I mean, it's really touching. It really is.
All right, I have to confess. And Tony knows this is coming. What happened to me at the end of the movie?
I'm sorry. Did you cry?
What? Yeah, I cried at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
because I always do. I always do.
You're a sensitive guy, and you cry. You feel things. I love that.
You cried.
Actually, no, I cried because I got scared with the dad.
Coupe
The dad was going to yell at me or something.
Here's how fond I was of Coupe de Ville. They didn't need to use the father being sick as a device. It really even didn't need that. It could have literally just been I'm glad you're here at the end, and I would have liked spending time with everybody enough for it not to have had that that thing. I know what everybody says you need to have that kind of emotional grounding, but I don't think it needed it. I think it could have existed without that. I think the only thing I think that was kind of a missed opportunity was that I didn't necessarily believe that the three of you could have fixed that car even with Gammon in a night, because if I thought that maybe you had picked up some stuff about fixing stuff from him and they had made it that you all had this kind of ability that didn't really come together until that moment. But I'm told you're not supposed to remake the movie in your head. You're just supposed to accept
Hey, can I
the movie
ask
that is there.
Have you ever been in a movie and then you see it years later and you're not in it anymore?
Yes.
I mean, that is so weird. And I looked at this movie I was in and I went, I'm not in it. And that's not the movie I was in, but it was definitely a movie that I was in.
So it was recut between the time you saw it. Oh, no, I never had that happen.
And and I'm not even in the credits anymore.
How weird.
But you definitely were in it at one time.
I was definitely in it.
What's the movie?
I get 25 cents a year on that movie.
But you're still getting it though, probably, right?
I don't know.
You might be.
I just couldn't. I looked at it the other night because I thought, God, I haven't seen that. I don't remember liking it that much.
What was this? You talking about this movie?
No. This is another movie that I won't mention.
I love that movie.
Privately. I've got to go because I'm supposed to have dinner with my friends at 6. But
Rita, thank you so much for joining.
I'm excited to be with you guys. And it makes me so happy that first of all,
I'll email you some of the examples of that game we played.
Rita, I love you. I'm so happy to see you.
Me too.
Have a nice dinner.
Aren't we lucky we're still here?
Yes.
And I think about all the wonderful things that have happened in life, and we don't know what's going to happen, but we just got to keep going because the alternative. But if I think, sometimes I think, boy, if I thought I was terminal, I might have a list, and I might get a gun. But don't put that in, okay?
Okay.
Don't put it in. I hate to tell you this is live, so it's in.
Don't worry, everybody's getting guns now.
Okay.
Everybody.
I gotta go.
Sure.
I didn't mean that. I'd never hurt a fly.
Thank you so much.
We
could talk for hours, but have a lovely dinner.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
I could talk the hind legs off a donkey.
Bye, Rita.
Good night.
Thank
Bye.
you guys. This was fun. Mwah.
Mwah.
God, I don't know how to turn it off. Here we go.
This is
I'm
exciting.
still here. Oh, here I am.
We all got together.
We all together. So double bill would you put a double bill? Was those your road movies, or would you double bill this with another movie?
I didn't come up with a double bill. I did come up with
everybody.
I did come up with a recasting other than You, Me, and Adam, though.
Oh,
what's that?
I would actually cast Sophia Rosinski in the Dempsey role. I would cast Caitlin Deaver in your role, Ari. Do you know Caitlin? And Jodie Comer. And Jodie Comer is Danny Stern.
Oh, that's dangerous. Yeah.
So you're putting women in these roles, is what you're doing.
I made it 3 sisters instead of 3 brothers.
I think no.
I think you're trying to curry favor with our female audience right now, but that's just me speaking.
Well, I'm trying anything that works. What can I tell you?
All right. I like the casting, and I think Sophia would be great for sure.
Well, we've seen her play, a troublemaking disruptor.
We have. She does it well.
She knows.
I'll like bite you or something.
We also do this thing where we recast ourselves in the movie, and I would be James Gammon, and I think Matthew would be Professor Klopner.
I would
No,
be Rita.
yes, definitely.
You'd be Rita for sure. I was going to say that. In that boat scene.
I got to see that movie on a boat. So I have no memory.
There's a scene on a boat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a ship. It's like a
little motorboat.
It's a motorboat, yeah, but it's nice. It's got nice oak paneling or whatever that would be. It's a nice boat.
I'm looking forward to this movie.
I think you're gonna like it.
Looks like a stop sign, Fred.
Well, it is a stop sign.
I think I'd like to play the stop sign.
You like what?
That's got to be
to play the stop sign.
You could
some
do some
wonderful things that happen.
Physical humor. You could take a pratfall.
Sure.
Yeah.
Was that the reason? Do you remember taking the script for that reason, Dad? I bet you did. The stop sign thing is pretty great.
Say again. I didn't hear you.
I had a feeling that the reason you took this job and you liked this idea in the script that your character was making a stop sign.
It was one of the many movies I took because I wasn't getting any work. Every once in a while, you take movies because you need to work.
Yeah,
I'm assuming there was like
that.
Okay.
I've only done that every single time I've taken a job.
Yeah. Will he do it? Only if we ask him.
That's right.
Well, I have a feeling that if you had an option between two scripts when you had no work, you would have picked this one because of the stop sign.
Because of the stop?
Yeah, it's really funny. Your character wants to make a stop sign that will last 100 years as a legacy to his children.
Well, I got to see it because I don't remember anything about it.
It's pretty great.
Oh, these are nice pictures.
Yeah.
You and Rita.
Now, the podcast listeners won't be enjoying this.
Those are fantastic. We're looking at wonderful photographs.
We're looking at black and white pictures right now for a color movie.
I'm wondering, we should have Dad back on the show sometime talking about a movie that he likes and remembers.
Or
the other idea I talked about. Movies that explode the meaning of the film are so potent that have moments in them that are so potent that they explode the whole film into another direction.
But that's so off our brand. Our brand is meaninglessness. People will get confused if we talk about things that are profound and important.
They're still confused. Don't worry. They're still confused.
We can take these very profound things and make them stupid.
Oh,
don't worry. If Dad, I'm a fan of it. If Matthew doesn't like it, we'll do it on my other podcast. And Ari, you can come on the other podcast because that would be very suitable, and we'd love to do it. Matthew, forget it. We don't have to do this segment. It'll be great.
All right.
There's room for it on another show.
It's just like dinner at home now. Everybody gang up on Matthew.
Can't wait to get out of this place.
Ari, do you have an ideal way that you'd see this film? An ideal scenario?
I was thinking about that, and it is sort of nice, the idea of seeing it at a drive-in, like a double bill of road movies, but it's a terrible way to see a movie, really. And watching it. What's that?
It depends on who your date is.
Absolutely, but I mean to see the movie. But yeah, if it's somebody you don't really like, then it's all right because you can actually see the movie. But unfortunately, it's movies like this that I think are best seen in a movie theater with a lot of people, because then there's a sort of communal experience of everybody's kind of being in the room together and laughing together, which you don't quite get if you're watching it in your living room
or in your car alone, which is basically
and the windows are fogging up.
So a live theater experience, I totally agree. I would say that I would hone that and say the best time to see it is in a small theater. Your first year away from home at college, and nobody else wants to go to the movies, you're alone, you're going, how, okay, I'll go see this. It's going to be funny. And you go and it breaks your heart. You call home immediately when you get back. That's what I think is perfect. I think it was designed to do that.
Yeah.
Dad, do you have a?
I have to see it again. I really don't remember any of it.
Maybe on a boat somewhere.
Maybe on the boat. Maybe on the same boat.
On that
Yeah,
boat.
a small boat.
Would be nice.
Not a ship, but a
boat. Motorboat.
My way to see it was back in the TV room on Ridge Drive.
Oh,
just you, me, and Adam, and a bottle of tequila on VHS.
How about a
bottle of Batch 22?
Bottle of Batch 22.
Bottle Batch 22 on Laserdisc. That would be prime territory. Ari, come over. It's a short drive. Just come on up.
Yeah,
I can bring the Norwegian schnapps.
Perfect.
Norwegian schnapps.
Oh my God. I'm just thinking of the longest spit take in cinema history.
Oh, you mean the sardine liqueur?
That's right. That's right.
We're going to do an episode just on the sardine liqueur.
That is a good idea.
That is what I'm drinking now.
The endless spit take.
The best spit take in history.
For people who don't know, Dad drinks sardine liqueur in
Big Trouble.
In Big Trouble, which is a semi-sequel to The In-Laws.
It was kind of.
It's a fantastic movie. It's one of my absolute favorites. Honestly.
Big Trouble or The In-Laws?
Both, but Big Trouble, I think is
okay.
I think is slightly less well known, and it's a delight.
For reason.
All right, thank you, because I think we have a new show that we can put together based on this.
I think they're going to re-release Big Trouble with Ari's commentary on the
right.
Preferably instead of the dialogue.
As long as my dad will do the commentary for just one of the guys, and then he can release that movie with that commentary.
Ari, what we had a question as to what was the name of the baseball play that you did at South Coast Rep.
Let's Play 2.
Let's Play 2.
I have no idea how I remember that, but yeah, Let's Play 2 by Anthony Clairvaux.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that something you're doing?
No, it's something that I did 30 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And on that note. No.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything
only slightly more well known than Coupe de Ville?
Is there anything exciting going on in your life or professional life or personal life that you'd like to share or promote to our 3 or 4 listeners who tune in?
I'm still here.
That's good, wonderful news.
Yes.
I have nothing to pitch.
Okay.
Or sell.
I second the book.
Okay, excellent. Just checking. It's just respect. It's just respectful to ask.
Yeah.
I have nothing either. I have nothing to sell.
I'll be appearing at Bristol Farms on Fair Oaks at around 8:00.
And
is that a supermarket? What is that?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'm still doing Optimus Prime in front of the Chinese. So come visit me there.
Wonderful. Well, I mean, unless anybody has anything else that they need to express about Coupe de Ville, I don't.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Behave yourselves. Be in before midnight.
We'll behave, Dad.
We'll be able to do that.
Apparently, we have 900 likes on this show on Instagram.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Now I just have to learn what Instagram is. All right.
Thank you so much for doing this and being
Dad,
here.
Thank you for joining us.
Nice
Dad,
to see you, Ari.
Likewise, Alan. It's a great pleasure.
And love you, Dad, and we'll see you soon.
Love you.
All right. Love you too.
This was fun.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Cocktails that are stylish, movies great or phony, and how Tony should win and Matthew should win.